Good afternoon, folks. My name is Kurt Hitzemann, County Court Judge here in Hernando County. You folks are here for your first appearance. The purpose of the first appearance is so that you may be informed of the charges against you. I'll determine if there's probable cause for those charges. Probable cause simply means it's more likely than not that a crime has occurred, and more likely than not that you're the person who committed that crime. Of course, as you stand before me this afternoon, I presume that you're innocent to these allegations. That presumption of innocence will stay with you through every stage of the proceedings unless and until the State Attorney's Office can prove the allegations against you beyond and to the exclusion of a reasonable doubt. We're going to set your conditions of pretrial release this afternoon. That is your bail or your bond. In most cases, you've had a bond set already pursuant to the bond schedule here in the 5th Judicial Circuit or the warrant that led to your arrest. I'll determine if that bond should be raised or lowered or left the same, or whether there'll be additional conditions of pretrial release placed upon you. We'll let you know when your next court date will be. If you'd like to have the services of the public defender, I'll gladly appoint the PD to represent you this afternoon. You do have a right to have contact with folks on the outside, family, friends, counsel. If you haven't had a chance to make that call, please let me know and we'll make sure that that happens. Finally, and most importantly, you're advised that you do have an absolute right to remain silent with regard to the facts which surround your arrest. I encourage you to do that. These proceedings are recorded. In addition, I have a pair of assistant state attorneys in the courtroom with me this afternoon. If you say something that tends to incriminate you, they will use it against you in the prosecution down the road. And now I need each and every one of you there at the jail to please raise your right hands and be sworn. You all solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth. Outstanding. When you hear your name called, please come forward to the podium. Michael Vamos.
No.
Afternoon, sir. What's your date of birth?
Downtown.
There was some question about him coming up today.
Yeah, I know. Do you know what your date of birth is, Michael?
7/12/79.
Awesome. You have 4 charges today: possession of methamphetamine, 2 counts possession of drug paraphernalia, 1 count criminal mischief. There's probable cause for those charges. As to those charges, you're going to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender? I'll appoint the public defender. State any history?
Yes, Your Honor.
Just the last couple of years.
So in 2016, there's an adjudication for battery second subsequent at Hernando. More in 2016, there's another battery and disorderly conduct adjudications. And 2013, Hernando adjudication for battery on an officer, adjudication DUI, second offense. And let's see. In 2011, another battery adjudication. 2010, adjudication at Hernando for DWS or visual traffic offense.
That's good. Michael, I have an address for you on California Street. Is that where you live? Michael, California Street? Do you have a job? Okay, well, I'm glad you came today. I will set the bond on the meth at $2,000, on the paraphernalias at $500 apiece, the criminal mischief at $1,000. That's a total of $4,000. You'll be back in court on the 29th of October. Someone from the PD's office, I'm sure, will be coming to see you. Thank you very much. Anna Davis. Ms. Davis, what's your date of birth?
April 4th, 1987.
Ms. Davis, the charge this afternoon is a domestic battery. There's probable cause for that charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
A public defender, please.
I'll appoint the PD. State. What can you tell me?
I'm sorry.
Hang on.
Yes, Your Honor, we have a 2019, we have a drop battery from earlier this year. And then there's some out of state as well. 2017, she's got a adjudication for burglary. There's a theft charge with dispositions upstairs. There's a contempt of court in 2018, and that's it.
Okay. And Miss Davis had an address for you on Portillo Road in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
That's where our fiance and I were staying. He's there now. That's who this is with.
Right.
And
That's where you were yesterday.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm trying to see what I can do to resolve to get this where I can get out of jail because he's not allowed to buy me out.
Okay. Do you have a job these days?
I stay at home and take care of him. He's a roofing contractor, certified roofing contractor. He just got his license back. He's a qualifying company out of Panama, and there's another company here locally that he's supposed to be doing with. I mean, I can pay the $100, but I can't. He can't do it for me. If you could find his ROR, I can bring it back.
Okay, I can't ROR you because it's a domestic case. And the other thing I'm going to do is, what I'll do is set the bond at $500. Condition is going to be, because he's not here, that you have no contact with Christopher until further order of the court or until this case is resolved. No contact means no contact of any kind. You don't call, you don't write, you don't. The really bad thing to do is interrupt the judge. And I understand that you want to blast me with words, but none of it's going to help. What you should be doing is using your ears. That's what you should be doing, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. No contact means no contact of any kind. You don't call, you don't write, you don't email, you don't text message, you don't contact them through any social media, you don't contact them through a third person, you're not going to go where he lives, you're not going to go where he works, you're not going to have any contact of any kind. Any way that you might imagine having contact, I forbid you to do that. If you have contact and we find out about it, your bond's going to be revoked and you're going to be held in jail without bond until the charges are resolved. It means no contact even if he wants the contact. So if you answer your phone and hear his voice, you should hang up. If you're out and about and see him, you should turn around and run the other way. You need to understand that he cannot drop the charges against you. That's not a decision he gets to make. He might go to the state attorney's office and ask them to drop the charges, but that decision belongs solely to the assistant state attorney handling your case. So unless that person or the judge on your case tells you the charges are dropped, you should assume they are not dropped, and you should not have contact. In addition, I have to hold you until 4 p.m., so that if you wanted to serve you with a civil injunction for protection against domestic violence, we'd know where to find you. If you get the civil injunction, it's doubly important that you not have contact, because in that case, not only could you get your bond revoked here, but you could get new charges for violating the injunction. I'm going to have you back in court on the 30th of October. Very important when you get out that you go and see the public defender as quickly as you can, all right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Susan Shepard.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This is
Shepard?
Susan Shepard.
What's your
Yes,
what's your date of birth?
5/31/1970, please.
It's not there's no necessity to lean into the microphone. It's actually a very good microphone. You can just stand straight at the podium and speak, and I'll hear you, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
There you go. The charge is battery on a person 65 or older. There's probable cause for the charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire a private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Public defender, please, Your
Appoint
Honor.
the public defender. Any history? Very good. I understand the victims here.
Yes.
All right. And that's Mr. Sapp. Yes. You want to come forward? Raise your right hand for me, sir. Solemnly swear firm tell truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth.
I do.
What's your name?
Jack Allen Sapp.
All right.
VP.
And how do you know Miss Shepard here?
That's my girlfriend.
Okay. How long you guys been an item?
8 months.
All right. And are you wanting to have contact with her?
Yes.
Anybody threaten you or coerce you to get you to come here and ask for
Just
contact?
pushed me last night, that's all.
I get that. But anybody threaten you to come here today and
No,
ask for contact?
no.
Are you afraid of her?
No.
You afraid she's going to hurt you or harm you in any way?
No. This is the first time she ever did it.
Okay.
I don't want nothing to happen to her.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So, Susan, I'm going to set your bond at $100. Condition of the bond is that you may have contact with Jack here, but it must be peaceful. That means any contact you have with him has to be described as peaceful, so much as raising your voice could be a violation of your condition of bond. Do you understand that?
I do understand that, Your Honor.
Okay.
Yes.
And Jack, as far as you're concerned, if something happens and you're worried or scared, you still get to call 911 if you want to, okay?
Okay.
All right. So, Susan, it's $100, peaceful contact. I'll have you back in court on October 29th. Still make sure you contact the public defender when you get out, all right?
Okay.
Yes, thank you for everything, Your Honor.
You bet. Thank you, Jack.
Which judge is
Thank
that
you.
judge? 29.
Merritt.
Mayor.
Lindley Tower. Ms. Tower, what's your date of birth?
11/2/87.
You are here on a warrant that was signed by Judge Rupi. She found probable cause for violation of probation. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Can I try to resolve it today?
You can resolve it for 60 days in the county jail if you like.
Okay, I take care of my disabled son at home. There's no way.
Okay, I'm not going to have a negotiation with you. You asked what it would be if you resolved it today. The warrant says 60 days. That's what resolving it today is. If you don't want to resolve it today, I'm happy to appoint you an attorney who will come and see you to see if there's some resolution that's better than 60 days.
Okay, 60 days is fine.
All right? You understand by entering an admission to the violation of probation, you give up the right to have a trial to the court, the right to confront the witnesses against you, and the right to have a lawyer represent you, but you're willing to give up those rights so we can resolve this case today?
Yes.
In case number 19 CT 1492, do you admit that you violated your probation?
Yes.
I'll accept the admission, find that it was freely and voluntarily made. I will revoke and terminate the probation unsuccessfully, adjudicate you guilty of the underlying charge if that was not done before. Set you to 60 days. Hang on one second. With credit for 2 days served, there'll be a $50 or $100 cost of prosecution and your cost of incarceration, but that takes care of it, Lindsay. You just need to finish the time, okay?
Yes.
Thank you. And Mr. Mancuso, you're still here? Yeah, that's good. This is State of Florida versus Bryan Jacobs, 17 CT 3408. Okay, this is a great big Charlie Foxtrot.
Yeah.
Let's get it ironed out.
Okay.
All right. So, is there still a warrant for a VOP warrant for him?
I believe so.
Okay. And I think the plan was we wanted to recall the warrant. What do we put it back on the docket or back on probation, or what are we doing?
If Your Honor will allow us to resolve it today, to put him back on probation, let him get the things remaining done that he needs to get done, that would probably be the most efficient use of everyone's time if
That's
the
what I
court is so
thought.
inclined.
That's exactly how I'm inclined. Let's see. Do you know anything about it, Nettie?
No, I do have the affidavit in front of me.
All right.
I noticed balance from his court files of 427. We don't have, he did his DUI school, but I believe he was discharged, so he needs to re-enroll in the DUI school.
Right. Well, he probably won't be able to come up with money for a while because he had to pay Mr. Mancuso.
I could have covered his fines with my fees. Yeah.
All right. So let's do this. So he was on probation. This is, I'll recall the VOP warrant. We'll put him back on probation with the same terms and conditions. But now you got to get busy.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
You got to get these things done. You can wind up in jail for not completing your conditions.
Okay.
And even Mr. Mancuso, who stands in good stead with me, wouldn't be able to keep you out of jail if you really mess up.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Good news is he hasn't done anything to cause
Nothing.
attention to himself since the
Nobody's bumped into him to serve this
You're
warrant
right.
on him.
You're right. He's lived a crime-free life.
That speaks well.
Right.
All right. So, Brian, we're going to give you some paperwork. Since you're back on probation, I want you to sit down there with Miss Nettie before you leave.
All right.
So to tell you what you need to do to get back on the program. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Very good,
sir.
Judge. Thank you.
Thank you. It's easy, right?
Good to see you, Judge.
Good to see you.
I'll give you your paperwork.
Carlos
Have a seat.
Barbosa.
Okay.
Afternoon, sir. What's your date of birth?
11/27/84, Your Honor.
All right. Carlos, you're here on a warrant that was signed by Judge Merritt. He found probable cause for violation of probation. As for that charge, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. The bond on that warrant, of course, is no bond. I can't change that. I'll have you back in court on the 29th of October. Public defender will come see you before that, okay?
Your Honor, can this be resolved today?
I can't, unfortunately, Carlos. This is a circuit court case, and I'm just a hardworking county court judge. They don't let me handle complicated cases like this, so you have to go see Judge Marin, all right?
Yes, sir.
All right.
What was your
Douglas Harvey? Afternoon, sir. What's your date of birth?
12/18/85.
All right. So Douglas, the first thing I have is a warrant that was signed by Judge Barbie. He found probable cause for 2 counts, stealing and stolen property, grand theft auto. And then we have a possession of controlled substance, probable cause all the way around for these charges. As to these charges, do you want to represent yourself? Do you want to hire private counsel? Would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll appoint the PhD.
Yes, Your Honor. He's got the open case in 2019 here at Hernando for the dealing of stolen property. And he's got a no cross in 2018 for battery. In 2018, he's got an adjudication for no valid driver's license. Again, in 2018, he's got DWSR adjudication at Hernando, a withhold for an expired DL. He's got a withhold in 2012 at Hernando for possession less than 20 grams in special paraphernalia. And then 2013 is a withhold for grand theft at Hernando. And 2007, another withhold for DWSR at Hernando. There's an adjudication in 2004. It looks like possession of, I'm assuming, a fake ID or a lawful license or something like that.
And Douglas, I got an address for you on Holden Drive. Is that where you live?
Yes.
How long have you been there?
On and off for 3 years.
Are you working these days?
Not with a warrant out.
Okay. All right. On the controlled substance, I'm going to set your bond at $1,000. On the grand theft at $2,000 and stolen property $2,000. That's $5,000 total. All those cases are coming back on the 29th of October. If you get out, make sure you go see the public defender right away, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Leslie Leary. Afternoon, sir. What's your date of birth?
4/15/68.
Charges disorderly intox. State, is this something you can resolve today?
Sorry,
That's okay. Yeah.
Your Honor, if he wants to resolve the state and do adjudication, credit time served, fines,
All right.
court custody.
Leslie, you want to take time served and call it a day? You know what that means?
Yeah.
You'd plead no contest and adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in jail, which you've already done.
Okay.
All right, you want to do that?
Yes, please.
Okay. Well, you gotta be positive. I can't take your plea if you're not sure that's what you want to do. Otherwise, I'll set you a bond and you can talk to a lawyer.
No, I'm good.
All right. You understand by entering a plea then today, you give up the right to have a trial by jury, the right to confront the witnesses against you, the right to remain silent, right to have a lawyer represent you, but you want to give up those rights so we can resolve this right now?
Yes.
As to the charge of disorderly intox, how do you wish to plead? You can plead no contest.
No, guilty.
Okay. I'll accept the plea. Find it's freely and voluntarily made. Adjudicate you guilty. Sentence you to 2 days in the county jail. Credit 2 days served. Fine at 4 crosses, $553, and your cross of incarceration. But that takes care of it, Leslie. If there's nothing else keeping you in jail, they'll release you today, all right?
Thank you very much.
Good luck to you. Chad Palmer. Afternoon, sir. What's your date of birth?
5/25/1985.
Chad, first thing I have is a warrant signed by Judge Barbie. He found probable cause for 2 charges, burglary of a structure and a grand theft. And then I have another warrant, also Judge Barbie. In this case, he found probable cause for 2 counts of criminal use of personal ID and 2 counts of fraudulent use of credit card. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
A public defender.
I'll appoint the PD, state.
Yes, sir. He's got adjudications, actually very frequent ones out of Alachua for possession of a weapon or ammo by convicted felon, and 3 counts of possessing a controlled substance without a prescription. In 2019, again, possession of controlled substance without prescription, adjudication, and then an adjudication for possession of marijuana with just 20 grams. In 2017, he gets adjudication for DWSR, 2 or more priors, and 2017's got another DWSR adjudication and providing false law enforcement adjudication. He's got adjudication and contempt of court in 2017. 2016, there's no adjudication for resisting without. Again, 2016, just another DWSR adjudication. In 2012, there's a adjudication for burglary of a dwelling. And there's an adjudication in 2012 for solicitation to organize dealing in stolen property. And in 2010, he's got adjudication for battery, domestic, second or subsequent.
Okay. Chad, I've got an address for you on Anderson Snow Road. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
Still working these days?
No, I'm sending some DOC right now.
Oh, all right, brother. Sorry. All right, then I'll leave the bonds for the warrants. That's a total of $15,000. We got you coming back on the 15th of October on both of these now, all right?
Sir, thank you.
Thank you. Anthony Rogers. Afternoon, Mr. Rogers. What's your date of birth?
7/30/92.
Mr. Rogers, you got 4 charges today. I got driving on a suspended license. That's a felony. Driving on a suspended, reckless driving, fleeing to elude, and disrupting a school function. There's probable cause for all 4. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire a private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
Appoint the PD, and it looks like you got a couple of open cases. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor. I think he's going to be in front of Judge.
Is there any way I can resolve all this today?
Nope.
He's got to be in front of Judge Toner on October 25th. I guess he failed to appear on those possession of controlled substance, the marijuana less than 20, and then the resisting without. So.
Okay. So what's the felony case number?
It is 2019 CF 918. And it looks like he also has another one.
He's got a misdemeanor.
He's got a misdemeanor one as well. It's open.
Yeah. 3180. So 918 is the felony? Is he on bond on that case?
Don't show on. I think when he had the previous on there.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Well, Anthony, I've got an address for you on Broad Street. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
And are you working these days?
No, sir.
I'm going to leave your bond per the schedule on these, which is $5,000 on the felony driving, $500 on the reckless, $5,000 on the elude, $500 on the disrupt. That's $11,000. I'll move these to the 25th of October, which is where you already have a case with Judge Toner. So all your cases will be in the same place, same time, all your felony cases.
Is that the 25th or the 29th, Your Honor?
The 25th. You have a court date in front of me on the 30th, which is a misdemeanor, which is not all that important given these other issues. All your felony cases are coming back on the 25th. I know they told you the 29th. I just moved it, okay?
Yes, sir.
And if you can't get out, PD will come see you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Ronald Siegel.
Yes, sir.
Afternoon, sir. What's your date of birth?
March 3rd, 1956.
All right. Ronald, you're hearing a felony driving on a suspended license. There's probable cause for the charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire a private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll appoint the
Sure.
PD. State.
Your Honor, he's got an adjudication in 2018 out of Pasco for a DWSR, second conviction. In 2016, there's an adjudication out of Pasco for DWSR. And in 2008, there's an adjudication out of Pasco for possession of marijuana less than 20 grams. And also in 2008, it looks like there's adjudication out of Pasco for DWSR. And in 2008, there's adjudication for possession of a controlled substance. In 2006, he's got adjudications for DUI, had DWSR, leaving the scene of an accident. And he's got a couple of charges on here. There's just no dispositions on them, or even like a charge to certain.
So I've got an address for you on Lancewood Drive. Is that where you live?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
How long you been there?
14 months.
Okay. You have a job these days?
Yes, sir.
What were you doing?
I'm a carpenter for, I work for an outfit called Straight Level Enterprises.
Okay.
Rick Man.
Okay. All right. I'm going to leave your bond for the schedule, which is the $5,000. You're going to be back in court on the 29th of October. If you can't get out, the PD will come see you. If you do get out, contact them right away, okay?
Okay, I told him for a little bit cheaper bond reduction so I could get a possibility to get out to save my job, you know?
All right, well, if you want to talk about it, you got a profoundly ugly driving history. Okay?
Yeah, I know.
And your license has been suspended continuously since 1986, well, maybe 96. But you've got a 10-year DUI revocation. You've got 1, 2, 3, 5-year revocations, a 2-year revocation, a 1-year revocation, more than 4 DUIs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 driving on suspendeds, including 2 in the last 3 years in Pasco County. There's like 7 of these. If we keep talking about this, your bond is going to go up. So we should probably stop talking about it.
Thank you very much.
You bet. Jared Vandenberg.
How you doing, Your Honor?
Just fine. What's your date of birth?
7/11/98.
Jared got 3 charges today: possession of hashish, possession of marijuana, possession of drug paraphernalia. Probable cause all the way around. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Or would you like a public defender?
Public defender,
I'll
please.
point to PD. State, what do you know?
Alright, Your Honor, he's actually got...
Is there any way I can resolve this or no?
No. Sorry, you got felony charges
Yeah,
again.
so he's open felony charges.
Okay.
He's going to be
Beyond my pay grade.
He's going to be
Whoa, brother.
Alright.
Hang on 1 second. They're going to set you a bond, so...
Oh, okay.
He's going to be here in front of Judge Marion on October 15th for those felonies. He does have a felony adjudicator. No, he does not have felony adjudication. This is a misdemeanor adjudication.
So what
He's
is it?
17 for possession of marijuana less than 40. And he did get PTI, which is successfully completed in 2016. So on 3 charges.
You want him back in front of Merritt on the 15th?
Well, he's not,
That's the
there's an open felony, I don't think it's this one, it's 2019 CF 1870, where he has charges of possession of cannabis over 20 grams, possession of cocaine, display of a firearm during a felony, possession of a controlled substance, tampering with physical evidence, and resisting without violence.
That's open.
It's open, Your Honor, and it's set for arraignment on 10/15.
So he's out on bond on that.
And I believe he picked that up on 9/1, September 20th. September 26th.
Okay.
So
he hasn't even been to arraignment on that yet.
No, arraignment is on 10/15 in front of Judge Merritt.
Oh, okay. Now I get it. Okay. All right. So Jared, first the easy part. I'm going to leave the bonds on these the same, which is $2,000 on the hash and the marijuana, $1,000 on the paraphernalia.
Okay.
That's $5,000. I will move this to the 15th. That's the easy part. Now the hard part is job number 1 when you're out on bond facing criminal charges is don't commit new crimes. Certainly don't commit similar crimes. So pursuant to, it appears to me that you have done that, so pursuant to Florida Statute 903.0471, I'm going to revoke your pretrial release in 19 CF 1870. We're going to hold you without bond until the 15th of October. That's when all of this will be back in front of Judge Merritt. Judge Merritt, of course, is free to revisit your bond if he thinks that that's appropriate, but you'll be in jail until the 15th when you go back to court in front of him. PD will come see you before you go to court, okay?
That was when my court date was.
What's that?
25th. My court date was the 25th.
I just moved it to the 15th.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah. How many days is that? Like 2 weeks?
That is 12 days, 11 days from now. Okay. And then I have Jamie Condor. The state, you want to weigh in on this? Because I think I know the answer. Hi, Jamie.
Hello, George.
So here's, did you see this from yesterday? Do you guys know about this?
Yes.
So we looked at it, and we saw it was a Pasco County,
It's a Pasco County
claim.
deputy.
Deputy.
Okay, now, so here, I'll tell you what I know, and then you guys can tell me what you think. So here's what happens. They get in a pursuit on poor Mr. Condor here, and they chase him from Pasco to Hernando. He gets stopped in Hernando, and so I think you arguably have fleeing in both counties, but you definitely have it here. And then after he gets stopped, they discover allegedly on his person some drugs and some other things. And all of that happens in Hernando County. So I think that the first appearance judge yesterday read a PC affidavit about crimes that clearly occurred allegedly within her jurisdiction. She found probable cause for those crimes and set bonds. Now I think Pasco County wants him, but I think there's a method for that. It's called a warrant, and that's how they get him. Now, it may be that the state's attorney's offices in the 5th and 6th want to put their heads together and decide how to proceed, but I don't see any reason that he shouldn't have bonds here in Hernando County and a court date here in Hernando County until such time as Pasco County SAO comes to the Hernando County SAO and says, hey, will you guys know info your charges so we can get him? Does that seem appropriate?
Seems appropriate, Judge, and that's what.
All right, and at the jail, I know where you guys are coming from, but the answer to me is that the Pasco deputy did it wrong. If his thought was to get Mr. Condor to Pasco County on these charges, it can still happen, but it didn't happen yet. And so I'm going to leave the bonds where Judge Rupi set them. I think she gave him a court date that was appropriate, and we're going to leave them there, and we'll figure it out later if they're going to switch something. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Very good. Thanks, Jamie. All right. Anything else from the jail?